movies were foreign to us. Like my dad, I think he took me to one movie my whole life. Like the first movie he took me to was he wanted. It was funny. It was Indiana Jones came out. I think I was like 10, and he was like, "Oh, don't check out this movie, Indiana Jones." And I didn't know what it was because it said Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom, but it sounded like Raiders of the Lost Ark. It was
right. Raiders of the Lost Ark, right?
And I thought it was like a movie about the Bible. About because it was like the Ark of the Covenant, and I was like, I don't want to see this religious movie. So I cried and was like, I want to see Annie. So my dad took me to see Annie, and he fell asleep, and I watched Little Orphan Annie, and that was like the first movie I ever watched. It was like I was 10 because I didn't go to the movies, you know.
Yeah.
So telling them I wanted to be an actor was like telling them I wanted to go to Mars. It was just like not a thing that was possible. So. They laughed, and I didn't want to be laughed at. So next time they said, "What do you want to be?" I said, "A lawyer." And they were like, "Ooh, a lawyer in the family. My son's going to be a lawyer," you know. So then I kind of convinced myself that's what I would be, you know. And I went to all through high school and didn't do a play in high school ever. And then I went to college, and I went to 1 year at St. John's University, and I studied pre-law, you know. And then. I took like an acting 101 class, and I really liked it. I was like, wow, because I was so shy, it was freeing for me. Because when I was playing other characters, like people don't see me, they see these other people. I could do anything as a character, right?
It's always that acting 101.
Yeah, acting 101. And so then I met this guy, and he was like a manager, and I was trying to get into like modeling a little bit, and I was doing like little things here and there. It wasn't like, you know, just to pick up money on the side. And then he said, if you want to be an actor, you should really study it. And so he helped me transfer into NYU to study theater there. And so I told my parents, hey, I'm going to transfer to NYU. And I actually auditioned, and I got into the theater program there. And they said, well, why are you studying acting? I don't understand. And this school's like twice as much as your other school.
Yeah.
I said, well, it has a, you know, as a lawyer, you have to stand up in front of people. I'm really shy, and acting is required to be a lawyer.
You're lying to them.
Yeah, I totally lied.
Totally playing them. I see what you're doing.
So I said, you know, you have to stand up in front of people, and it's like doing a play. You have to take acting classes that'll help me be a better lawyer. And they didn't know. So the good thing about my parents was there's parents that like if their kid like shits in a box, they're like, look what my kid made, you know. And and then there's the other parents that are just like. On the other side, like my parents, like my mom never came to a baseball game. You know, my dad took me to like one movie my whole life. Like they just did their thing and I did my thing. And in some ways, like it was good because they kind of stayed out of like, I actually had a conversation with my mom the other day. I said, because I had a motorcycle at 19. I was like, did you guys like me? Like I would never let my son
did you like
get
me?
A motorcycle at 19. She was like, oh no, that's what you wanted to do. I mean, I thought you were crazy, but I was like, you know, that's what it was like. They just didn't, they let me be me, which was really kind of wonderful.
But they loved you and they gave you all that stuff.
And they loved me and it wasn't
See, that's why it worked. They gave you the love and everything.
It wasn't like they were ignoring and abandoning me.
They just weren't on top of you.
They just weren't on top of me. They weren't helicopter parents. So like when I said I was going into NYU, they were just like, okay, you know, I got a baseball game this weekend. Okay. You know, like I'm coming home tonight. I'm going out. Okay. Don't come home late. Okay. You know, like they didn't.
Jeez, I wish that was my parents.
They didn't really helicopter parent me.
Get your ass home or I'll beat the shit out of you.
So they were loose in that sense, but in the sense of like, hey, I really think you could make it as an actor. They weren't that either.
Right.
You know? But they never said you can't make it as an actor. They just were like, he's going to NYU. He's taking acting class. I don't know. You know, they just kind of stayed out of it. So I went to NYU and I studied acting, and then I ended up getting an episode, like a guest starring episode of something, and I was like, hey, I'm gonna be on this guest, and I had like the lead guest, you know, episode. Right. Lead, what do they call lead guest lead? You know, I was the lead.
Is that what they call
them?
Guest leads?
Guest lead. I don't know.
I don't know.
The lead actor and the guest
but
lead.
Was it a soap opera?
It was I can't say the show, but it was a show that dealt with law, and it also dealt with other stuff like order. Like there was stuff order, like that. There was order,
and there was also like criminal law,
criminal stuff, and judge stuff.
Gotcha,
you know, and stuff like that.
Gotcha.
And so so I did a show. That was my first thing.
Due to the SAG strike, Peter Facinelli can't say the word beep beep.
Yeah, so it dealt with like judges and law and stuff. So I ended up being the lead, I guess, lead on that show, and I said, hey, I'm going to be on this series. And so my parents watched it, and they thought I was going to be like the guy just kind of like, oh, that's my hand. Did you see it? You know, or the guy just walked through the door in the back.
Blown away.
No, they weren't. They were surprised, but I never got I actually never got oh my God, that was amazing. I can't believe you did that either.
Oh.
They were just, but they weren't like, I think they were just a little
They're just like,
shell-shocked.
great, you got paid.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
great.
They were just like, oh, that's cool. And they really didn't think anything of it. I mean, honestly, for the first 20 years of my career, my dad would be like, listen, if you ever need it, your room, well, we still have a room for you. like, so I never
I always got the same thing.
I never
Well,
got the, you know, I think you finally made it. You know, I feel like they're proud of me.
But after you did a movie with a bunch of vampires,
no, I think that they
come on.
No, because here's the thing, they don't understand the world of it. So when I go home, you know, my mom's more interested in like, why aren't you eating? You know what I mean? Eat your pasta. Like you're getting too skinny. Eat this. Or like, so it's like the blessing of my parents they would love me no matter what I did. You know what I mean? The fact that they only care.
Don't make me cry now.
They only care if I'm happy. That like my mom says, like if something is really successful, she says, are you happy? Then I'm happy too. She doesn't care if it's successful. As long as I'm happy, they're happy, which is really
Do
wonderful.
they ask you that? Do they ask you?
Yeah, they ask you.
They say, are you happy?
Yeah,
Are you good?
Yeah, like I'll be like, hey, I got this movie. Oh, good. Are you happy? Yeah, like good. Yeah.